Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that was just my game. Oh, man. I'm just really confused about the announcement. Like, what the hell does it mean? Because there's a bunch of doctrine just constantly in a cycle, and I'm just confused. Just very confused about what it means. Okay, so it is an epic blood doctrine for the blood penetration. Hmm. I don't know why. It's just very confusing. I'm just wondering whether or not there was like a special one inside. Actually, let's just never mind. Never mind about that. We're on to BPJT versus YYY, and it does look like it's going to be a best of 5. So I'm going to put you guys. Oh, well, once we go through the pick ban phase, we're going to go. I'm going to put up a prediction. But anyway, immediately banning Hidden City and Heilung Fjord. Choosing Harbor City. I bet it's a double Harbor City. Yes, we do see a double Harbor City. Again, Harbor City, very popular map. We get to see it a lot. There's very few strategies that we have not seen, but definitely a lot of battles. Hello, Mask. And yes, you're early. You normally miss the pick ban phase and you kind of catch the very start of the first battle or halfway through the first battle. So YYY has been very consistent with their bans, banning out the Zycalian Militia and the Matalators. BPJT also kind of solid in their pick bans as well. Chevaliers followed by Shield Maidens. Shield Maidens are getting banned by BPJT a lot recently, and it's very interesting because they're very powerful units, I do believe. Chevaliers in particular has the advantage of having multiple units face off against you, so that's really difficult. And no, Obi-Wan Kenobi, we are right in for the first Pickman phase. It might be a best of 5. I'm not entirely sure. The Stalwarts are not banned yet. It could be their third ban. Definitely want to get the Chevaliers out. Definitely want to get the definitely, I think Shield Maidens are a higher priority than Stalwart, mainly because Shield Maidens are a little bit more flexible. Stalwart can dictate the battle uh, on 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 the. Whoa, okay. I just realized that BPJT actually skipped over their safe pick, and YYY bans out the Shenji Grenadier. Right now, they should be picking their safe pick right now, and BPJT not choosing a safe pick is very interesting. Reapers will just die to any brace unit. Like halberdier sergeants, no, regular halberdiers would kill Reapers easily, hands down. Like the amount of damage that halberdiers do to Reapers would be in the range of 1,100. Yeah, they would murder Reapers. Like no, Reapers is a weak pick, like a really weak pick. You have no idea how bad like the conditions of Reapers are right now. They're not tanky enough to survive. They don't deal enough damage to instantly win a fight. Very surprising. Um, so I mean, does ban out the Smachi and Stalwart. So we did see that. So the bans are pretty much in place for nearly every single team as we head to the latter end. Banning out the Chevaliers, banning out the Shield Maidens, banning out the Smachi and Stalwart. Classic from BPJT from the last 3 battles we've watched of them. Why? Also very classic, banning out triple important range, keeping that Halberdier Sergeant. Definitely think that the Halberdier line is extraordinarily powerful. Yeah, no, I agree that the art like the Royal Janissaries, otherwise known as the Silidars, are very tricky to use for like generally just generally um for a few reasons. Individually, the Silidars are actually not very strong. Like they're not very strong. They have some things going for them, but yes, that's one of the things. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi, when you're using the Royal Janissaries, you want to use your skills as close to the enemy as possible to get the biggest impact because those skills don't seem to have a very low hit limit. They have a really high hit limit, meaning that one sideways swipe, one death strike would hit multiple units. And we're talking about like five odd targets, and that's a really powerful tool. But don't forget that, like, after those skills have been used, they do have something of a, I think it's like a 6 second 6 second rotation between sideways sweep into death strike back into sideways sweep. So there's a 6 second delay between the sideways sweep, and then there's another 12 seconds between death strike and sideways sweep again because the cooldown matches up somewhat. Well, that's half half. The reason why you use cover commander, well, it's actually called get over here. It's a terrible name. Um, is because when you use it, the Royal Janissaries gain access to Death Strike, which is very powerful. So when your cooldowns are off, you have to go and cover commander because they're much stronger that way. And it's a detail that's not really important because all of your strength is front loaded into those skills. You hit once, you got a chance within 6 seconds to hit again. Most people just hit once, hit the second one, and just go straight into cover commander because you force your Royal Janissaries to attack animation and then cancel the next set because it's not guaranteed. So they want to go for that guarantee, and it's difficult to know when to expend so much of your resources for the Silidars and when to draw it out because over time Silidars are probably one of the best, if not like strongest brawlers in the game, except for like Shield Maidens, of course. But yeah, no, no. When you use skills, Royal Janissaries won't clump up. They won't clump up. That's completely wrong. Oh wait, no, sorry. X into the enemy, yeah. Then um then just use your skill. Don't press anything else. Just X into the enemy, use your skills. They'll be right up against the enemy and hit the most amount of enemies they possibly can when they're right up against the enemy. But if you want to do a concentration attack, you can it's easier to use the semicircle one, but the circle one is really good for concentration attack and for formations that are extraordinarily dense. The circle one is really good, but it's harder to pull off because you have to hold X and place the Royal Janissaries inside the target you're going for. The reason why this one doesn't work as well is because you're concentrating your damage too much, so you have a smaller net. So whatever you're hitting dies, and normally you normally end up overkilling. You normally end up overkilling. Oh yes, for sure. What like sideways sweep from Sillagars can just one shot the like Iron Reapers. Like even if the sideways sweep only does around about 900, maybe 600 damage against an Iron Reaper, it's that a lot of damage comes in through hitting multiple. So it might be 600 damage against one, but Iron Reapers tend to clump up together either from charge or from Tiger Step, and when they're all clumped together, you're hitting the maximum amount of units. It could be up to 16 times. Each Royal Janissary dealing 6,000 damage. Two Royal Janissaries would drop an Iron Reaper instantly, and that is that is very powerful. Very powerful. Yes, please. I don't think that's a problem. Like, let's face it. Let's face it. Why is it a problem to be CCable? Like everyone everything should be um okay, no. Let's put it this way. Most polearm units really suffer because they are dazeable, very dazeable. But shield units are able to block a lot of attacks, so they don't actually take a lot of CC. But because units that can't block always get CC'd, so units that like the Claymores, like the Royal Janissaries, like the Iron Reapers are a bit different because they are daze immune, and so usually one Claymore per push is enough for area buff. The area for the buff is actually really small. You have to basically be on top of the Claymores in order to get that. In order to get that buff, and I think the buff only lasts for around about um 5 seconds. I think the actual unwavering heart buff only lasts for 5 seconds. It's in the description somewhere. So 15 seconds for the For Freedom shout, 5 seconds for the unwavering heart buff. You have to be careful about that as well, because if you use one skill followed by a second skill, the unwavering heart buff will be overwritten, and you might actually cancel the thing. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think anyone's tested this, whether or not the unwavering hearts, if you either cancel it or you either override it. But I know that when you use claymores, what you want to do is use your first skill, then go roar for freedom, and then use your second skill immediately. That way, um, that way they kind of spread out, and you activate the unwavering heart buff. There is a kind of there is a second way of doing it, um, which is actually kind of weird. Yeah, loyal. The stalwart block is really disgusting because of the 50% attack down. Um, that's right. Who will win? Let's also do a prediction. Who will win? BPJT versus YYY. So we got BPJT and YYY. So this mission period, let's go 10 minutes. So place your bets, channel points, they're fun. Bit of gambling. I mean, like if your country doesn't allow it, your country doesn't allow it. Oh no! But you lost all your points the last time. That's unfortunate. I would agree with you on that, but as we got closer to kind of like the end state, I think both the teams have kind of come a long way, facing off quite a few strong teams or quote unquote strong teams. And you think BPJT grew more? I'm not entirely sure. I haven't been concentrating so hard on BPJT alone. I think BPJT has gotten more confident in their plays, or they never really seem unconfident in their plays. A switch to medium armor would dictate that they are focusing on hero killing and relying on units to really just work out for themselves. But this is kind of crazy. 9 muskets for BPJT, defending on Harbor City first, with YYY attacking first. And interestingly enough, YYY going in with that kind of roundabout, I would say 70% tier 4, tier 3 lineup. We got BPJT a little bit more tier 5s, I would say. Actually, no, just one more tier 5. 2 Siphonatioids for YYY here. Lots of winged, like 2 winged stars, 2 Liaos. Very low number of cavalry. I didn't expect so little numbers of cavalry out from the teams here. The pike pick also from YYY is actually kind of a little excessive. Just a little bit. I would agree. I definitely think Obi-Wan Kenobi that the 9 muskets are or won't probably be muskets the entire time. Once we get off the wall, definitely do think they'll switch. I think that's a bad play as well. Sometimes having a musket or two can really dictate a fight really well. You can slow down the pace of the enemy. You can blast it open, and your fire thing is extraordinarily power. Like your goddamn your what my face calls it liquid fire is much more powerful nowadays. I think we see it every day. Nearly any good team on Harbor City kind of switches that musket around. Oh, I don't remember seeing that. I don't remember seeing the bombs being thrown and 2 heroes died. Or maybe I just don't remember. It's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult to think that 5 muskets would just instantly wipe 2 heroes, but that's not true actually, because one thing that you have to remember about rain. Okay, so this is a clause that is completely asinine to me, and I don't understand why it's there. But the musket grenade, like black powder grenade, doesn't lose damage until you hit more than 5 targets. Meaning that if you're only hitting 5 targets, it does full damage to all 5 of them. And this is the exact same for the explosive arrow for longbow. And it's the reason why it's just so terrifying, absolutely terrifying for these range skills to deal so much damage, because it is a lot of damage. So when you're in isolation like this, even if you group up, you're not taking less damage. You're actually taking more damage. You're actually taking more damage when all of you get hit by the exact same skill. Normally, when you get hit by the exact same skill, you take less damage, and that's consistent against all heroes. But for those particular skills, for the musket and the longbow, they deal the same amount of damage. So it's 100%. I need more viewers, or need to start playing more ads. I need to play like an ad every like 1 minute. I need to play an ad for every minute of gameplay. Coming! Alright. Just to start here, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to grab some noodles, apparently. Oh, alright, I'm back. Let's look here. Breakdown of the left-hand siege tower, right-hand siege tower very low. Middle siege tower is going to get up. Again, this is actually a really good cost-saving idea. Just let the middle siege tower get up. There is no benefit for destroying this middle siege tower because if they do take this, it's a hard fight. And it's a really difficult fight. Nah, I got 1 ton. I got 1 ton. Homemade 1 ton. I mean, like, the noodles aren't homemade, but the 1 ton is. Here, here is always the really difficult thing to decide. When one of the siege towers get up onto the wall, especially early on like this, do you take it? There is a likelihood of them challenging you at the top of the siege tower. At the same time, there isn't. So, if you just went up the siege tower right now, the forces from BPJT would be too slow in order to get to that siege tower. But that might be a gamble because there's lots of muskets, a bunch of caltrops, 50% speed reduction would slow it. You should have strats for 1 tower. Yeah, that is that's probably that's probably a really good idea because it's still valuable. Don't get me wrong, but you would never want to go up that siege tower in a situation where everywhere else is a stalemate. Like, if that was your last option, I still wouldn't go up it. It's that kind of deal. BPJT does seem to be hovering the front gate really heavily. Really, really heavily. So I'm betting that YYY is just going to do a swing. So they're going to go from the front gate up to the siege tower, and then, well, they might sacrifice 2 units here, in fact, to keep them here. BPJT also swung. YYY sacrifices. They're going up super hard. Where's the Siphonarioids? Siphonarioids do not make it to the front in time, getting hit by a Treb here. The front line breaks down, but slowly YYY is completely up onto this wall right now. They just need to create a little bit of space, and wow, the flamers at the front are doing work, as you can see, but those muskets have kind of weaving in and out through the battle. A nice treb for this one, but now Siphonarioids for BPJT gets trebbed. Two of them just clocks out, and 2 of them still alive, but the troops from YYY is barely holding on. We have a couple of YYY members at the back there. The front line is breaking down, needs reinforcements. In fact, Siphonarios is able to Firestorm once more, crushing the advance. Very very impressive that the Siphonarioids are really the dictators of the fight here. Once the Siphonarioids got trebbed out by BPJT, the Siphonarioids for YYY really will need it to come back in with that Firestorm and just wipe out the rest of BPJT. The exchanges here were quite consistent. I wouldn't say that YYY is heavily up. A lot of their units are damaged and definitely will probably lose out a little bit more than you would expect. Wingdissar comes in from the rear. Also see a Halberdier trying to catch and slow down. Oh my goodness! How many dead bodies is this Halberdier and Wingdissar combo kill? Because that looks like an absolute massacre right there. YYY very desperate to just push for the supply point, and BPJT sacrifices another 2 units here as the cleanup comes through with the Daggerack Lancer, but the Daggerack Lancer is not exactly surviving that push there. They did take heavy losses. I think half losses, deciding to pull back. Pretty much a good idea. The supply point not under pressure. JT have already done a swap. The exchanges of units have been going pretty consistently back and forth here, and I do think BPJT big pick big pickup again for that little stairwell, and um I would question whether or not YYY actually has a lead. If they do have a lead, it will be actually much smaller than you think. Maybe 2 or 3 units at the best of times. But nevertheless, this we're going back. We're going back to the setup again, and I always love analyzing the setup. Teams that do a setup always do very well. And this part of the setup is where you scout your enemy, you wear them down, wear their strong points down, or just skirmish them. Hitting them with these mortars do way more than straight up killing them, because these units won't risk going back to the supply point to heal. And that's a very important point, because if they go back to the supply point, they actually just get hit a bunch more, and you're actually higher risk of losing them. As you can see, 2 mortars instantly go for that Madao and Halberdier, wondering whether or not they can survive. The interesting thing about Madaos is that if you use their Madao brace, they actually receive 20% damage reduction even against artillery, which is one of the few units that actually have damage reduction against artillery. I've actually haven't come across damage reduction like this on any other unit, and that is a big difference. That is a really big difference between the Madaos and everybody else. You have not seen this kind of damage reduction before. Uh, and we're not Mole haters. We just think that Mole gets shafted because of how Frontier plays. Mole wants to kill the units, but everyone else wants to kill the Mole. So Mole is weak because it can't kill heroes. It's better at killing units that just can't respond to it. And that's a thing. You don't. Oh man, BPJT has taken some hefty losses, probably losing about a whole unit now and more, probably a unit and a half. And even if you sacrifice this much artillery, killing off a whole unit is a whole unit advantage, and that is massive. And now, since BPJT has pulled off from the supply point, YYY gets a very easy supply point inside the city. And this changes the status quo as well, because BPJT is in a more crucial position where if their defense falters, their base point will be attacked. And this is a problem, mainly because they can't afford to fight YYY inside the city, because they've already lost the supply chain. I mean, they already have a supply chain inside the city. Once that blockade of the wall itself is very powerful against the attackers, but once the attackers get past it, you don't have that advantage anymore. Now, YYY is taking the smart route. They're kind of doing like they're kind of scouting out the enemy by going through the center, and they're kind of just shifting over to the left. My question here is that, will BPJT defend this alley? This alley has been a death sentence for a lot of defenders, and the Fort Ratios here at the front are about to get clapped on. There is a treb. We got some incendiary archers being deployed. They're not a bad unit, but at this rate, the front line's going to break down before it gets any value. Lots of cavalry out on the field, but it's just a polearm. It's just a polearm fest. The Madaos hold strong. The Halberdiers hold strong. Some Liaos follow up. Infantry follow up. Might just brute force it They will! Collapsing that back line. YYY is also on the supply point, though. BPJT loses the supply point, but manages to collapse the entire back line, which is about majority of the infantry, which is really good. That means that the majority of the infantry is clocked out. You still have a second set of infantry, which does seem to have just cleaned up the rest of them. The supply point has been gotten. YYY is going to be able to stabilize. Unfortunately, here, BPJT's deployment of the cavalry really backfired. They sacrificed a lot of units in order to break through that cavalry line. And look at the look at that switchover. So many units now spawning out from that supply point, and you're just going to see in a complete blockade a very nice Imperial Spear Guard blocking the view, blocking the spawn point. Second setup here. This second one is going to be very difficult to get through. It's a tiny ass house, and just watch them just massacre the defenders trying to get through that little gate. And definitely think that even if you take the long route, you're never going to make it. It's kind of strange why YYY would push in here, but nevertheless, keeping the enemies bottled up is probably much smarter than allowing the enemy to get through. So pressure, pressure, pressure. YYY does an amazing left side push. And I think the bad thing here is the deployment of the cavalry from BPJT. All of the cavalry charging from the front, straight on to a halberdier, medal, and fortibratio formation. Even if you overwhelmed that pike line, you lost many, many cavalry. You lost a hussar, you lost a liao, you lost a Daggerak Lancer, and plenty of other units as well. Like, you lost a claymore, you lost a fortibratio. There was so many losses for that formation. It just didn't seem very, it just didn't seem very wise to deploy your cavalry in that way. Also, unable to sustain the supply point, BPJT really needed to concentrate on making sure that supply point doesn't switch over, but unfortunately it did. So we did see that one, two, three, four, four members from BPJT were permadeath by the end of that, and that's unfortunate. Um, it's always one of the things that is very difficult to tell is how close to death, well, how close to permadeath any of the teams are. You can count how many battles they have, you can count how many heroes they kill, but the actual heroes that might be on permadeath, very hard to tell. Again, I only do this poll once, so it's not per match. So this poll is for the whole thing. Whole thing. So yeah, you're only allowed to buy in at the very beginning. Ah, you want some money now. So you have a chance of winning back your money if BPJT does turn this around. But I do think that YYY had a very strong performance in that scenario. A little bit lucky, I would say, a little bit lucky. There are two reasons why I think it's lucky. YYY was on the verge of collapse. On the wall, on the verge of collapse. If that Treb didn't clock out the Siphonarios, YYY could have lost a lot more than they did on that wall. Yes, definitely think that the bait gate was really good, able to get onto that wall, get space, but timing was a little bit offset. Though there was a couple of units in the background that really should have came in much faster. I think the Silidars and I think I saw Iron Reapers actually kind of walking off towards the A point. Not something you want to see in a team fight when the team fight is happening. Yes, I do believe it's going to be a best out of 5. The time slot for this is an hour and a half, so it better be a best out of 5 because I don't think we'll get an extra 30 minutes for no reason. I think I think CNC can tell what their aim is, or they set up their contingent that they have. Think about it like this: on the defending side, you only need a small number to face a greater number of foes. Before your position is overrun, you have a massive advantage. So the question is here is that if CNC is floating, that like a lot of floaters, meaning floating for either the front gate or the siege tower, can they make it to those positions before the holding units are overrun? CNC's mistake, I think, the last time was the number of holding units, but I think they did a really good. I think they did a really good job. The Zykllian militia really came in hard to stop the enemy from getting up onto the position, and it's not about whether or not it baits the right guy. I think I have to agree with Mask's first statement. BPJT overreacted to the front gate. They had everyone come down. If everyone comes down, no one's holding the tower. And you saw what happened. 3 guys come in from one side of the tower. A tower is deadly because enemies can be on both sides. If the enemy is not on both sides, you go straight up because if you only have to face one direction, you just flood it with more guys. And that is easy because you easily overwhelm the defenders that way. And it's a massive sacrifice to hold that position when your sheer numbers smashing against each other. And that is the biggest mistake from BPJT or and CNC. Don't forget, CNC did the exact same thing. They only had units on one side of the siege tower, and that is a massive weakness or a massive what do advantage that they could take advantage of, but they didn't. Instead, it's an equal when you don't take advantage of both sides of the siege tower, it's an equal fight for either side. So you put yourself at a disadvantage by not taking that advantage. And again, the wall is naturally favored towards the attackers because of the trebs, able to break down fortified positions, and getting hit by a treb is never an easy thing to survive. Not to mention if the enemy is also pushing into your formation. Really? You think if they went for Hidden City? But BPJT banned Hidden City. Why would, if you believe that BPJT. Sorry, wait, Obi-Wan Kenobi, explain to me this. Why would BPJT ban Hidden City if you think that they would have more of a chance against YYY? Is it because YYY struggles against attacking Hidden City for the second round? You think they're going to choose Hidden City for the second round? That that would be an interesting. I mean, like a Harbor City ban would be absolutely huge. Yeah, priorities. Sometimes CNC throws you through a loop by concentrating on things that you are not doing. Again with the double Siphonarioids, a little bit more cavalry this time from both sides. Kind of expected a little bit half-half. I mean, obviously, as the attackers, you can't bring too much cavalry because if they go for a full wall hold, if they're successful, their cavalry are useless. But if you get the wall, your advantage in cavalry will the person with more cavalry normally has an advantage. So at higher levels, I think this is a really good example of how warband setup for teams really can dictate advantages that go unseen until the fight really kicks off. And one of the things that I really dislike is how powerful cavalry can be. Having one cavalry on the field versus not having a cavalry on the field is a stark difference. The team with a cavalry can that cavalry, similar to how Siphonarios work, that cavalry can really change the tide of a battle. That Siphonario, that unit can change the course of a battle very easily, in fact. And it's a wonder. It's a wonder why such powerful units aren't more expensive, aren't more difficult to use. There aren't very many limitations for cavalry, or previously there weren't that many limitations. I think it's more difficult now, but still, the power and the strength of cavalry is still present. So you're gonna see them used to great effect. They don't really have a bad day as long as you use them in conjunction with your team. You can't exactly send them by themselves. Similarly, if you let your Siphonarioids just run up without protection, they're just going to get overwhelmed. A Siphonarioid can definitely turn a fight. Firestorm into Quickfire burns down probably anything in its way. True damage, by the way. That's 600 true damage coming out per shot. And I think they shoot about 7 streams. More or less also have a very high hit limit. Something around the 5 mark. So these guys are dealing a lot of damage really, really quickly. So, similar thing. Why lets the middle siege tower up on the wall. Did shoot it a couple of times. I think if you were going to let the siege tower up on the wall, I wouldn't waste any shots into it. It's just a waste. You and me both, man. But I mean, you kind of have to accept that there are meta maps. The struggle here is that um the struggle here is that the variety of maps is not large enough that people are forced to fight that people can attack different maps. People generally get into a rhythm of attacking only one map or defending one map. So again, when you have a choice, you don't really have a choice because maps aren't equal. And when everyone's playing on a particular map, you get more and more knowledge of that map. So if everyone's attacking this one particular map and you're attacking a different map, every time you're fighting someone that's attacking this map, you're gaining more experience on this map. But you're the only one attacking a different map, so you're you're wasting half of your time learning on a different map that no one else will attack. half and half, Zid1. Defending A and not defending A, it's kind of bit of both. You never, you can never really say that not defending A it's a bad decision. One wave on A could be a big advantage because, again, like the wall is very advantageous for the defenders. The question here is whether or not they take advantage, if the defenders can take advantage of that. A lot of times, I think why people don't defend the wall is because once the defenders gets a lot of avenues in a case where all the siege towers up are on the wall, like right now, I wouldn't care if you could hold every single siege tower. I wouldn't. 3 siege towers up on the wall means you're divided into you're actually divided into 5 different parts. 5 different parts. And that is really, really difficult to pull off because the attackers can oversaturate one of the siege towers and overwhelm your weak forces. So, I think the good thing here is that YYY, small proxy on the wall. I mean, and it wasn't actually a very strong wall hold. Made BPJT use up a lot more artillery at this stage than I would normally see. They were down to 18 artillery, and right now they're at 15. That means they use 3 on the wall right now, and they're not making headway into the city. So the I think YYY has made a very tactical decision here. They're going to have to keep an eye, though. I think CNC blindsided them before, and definitely they're not going to get blindsided again. I mean, like, if you get blindsided again, the same way that CNC did it, then, like, I would ask, are you learning from your own mistakes? At least this time, they know BPJT has come through that small gate. I need to eat my noodles before they all dry up. I'm sorry if this irritates people, but I am trying to commentate while I eat. I'm surprised how close BPJT got to the supply point, and we still haven't seen a battle. No? Why? Is it because it sounds like a baby? Oh my god, they see one person DC and they launch into action. Right now, the center section retreats out. YYY swings in from the back and swings in from the front here. This back section is actually doing reasonably well, pushing onwards. The front section actually loses a little bit, but they've retreated back into a stronger position. Mamilliones tries to bash their way through, gets burnt to a crisp right now. Siphonario is out for BPJT, burning out the right-hand side, but we got left-hand side holding strong, and they're slowly creeping up a firestorm straight into that Medal pile. Medal goes in with the... Whoa! Here comes the Daggerect Lancers. Daggerect Lancers trying to get into the back line, and they do. BPJT doing a really good job, in fact. They actually won both sections, and this is really bad for YYY. A big sacrifice indeed for very little gains. I think I think in totality, both sides took heavy losses. We're talking probably 13 to 15 units worth of damages for both sides. BPJT also lost a member to DC during that time, so it's quite surprising that 14v15, BPJT was able to come out on top. But that's what being in a defensive position is normally about. This is a good position to be in, especially this late in the game. Um, One person from YYY DCs. That's very unfortunate. One DC from BPJT and one DC from YYY. That is a death. That's technically a death. If they DC, that's a death. They've got 6 minutes, so I can see this going on for a third round. Yeah, but it backfires. They try to take advantage of that one DC, and it backfires heavily. Sacrifices the halberdiers. This is really bad because they're just staring at BPJT as they set up. YYY could lose this. Actually, I take that back. Not could. Will lose this. They're going to get surrounded here. Dagger Lancers comes in with a hard left turn straight into the formation. No backup infantry, but they are so deep into that formation, it just crumbles. Wow. Trebs galore. YYY takes a hard L here. The back section actually wins out with overwhelming cavalry, but here comes the clinch. You have to get through two Fort Brachio's. Good luck. YYY slow on the react here. They did send three cavalries through the front. They made no headway. One person trying to go through the back. YYY is completely scattered for the defense right now. And boom. Oh man. That was a major screw up by YYY. Giving that much space to BPJT, again, if it ever comes down to Harbor City base point defense, that entire length of space from the base point to that corner where the attackers come out from, is space you need to control. And I say you need to control if you want to have an advantage, because once once the attackers round that corner and facing you, you're going to have a much harder time. A very hard time. And you just watch YYY lose heavily. Very heavily. They try to take advantage of that little crevice section. Crevice section. They try to take that kind of corner advantage on the side there, but that doesn't work on the defender's side. You know why? Because you're very cramped on one side and you have a lot of space on the other side, but you're trebable. You're completely trebable. The attackers go to that section because it's super advantage. Every time a defender rounds that corner, they just insta die, and they have to be facing the attackers as they come in anyway. So when you're defending Harbor City base point, never sit back. My advice to you, never sit back. That loss, it just showed me YYY uh, completely messed up on their strategy. Like, completely messed up on their strategy. They lose huge advantages and shoot themselves in the foot. BPJT didn't even see any resistance at the A point. They overcommitted for the A point in this case. I mean, I agree with you, Zinbon. One fight at the A point is a safe bet. A strong defense takes advantage of the whole map. If you give up, like, I always hate this. You give up any section for free, be it a supply point, be it the A point, like be it the wall, that is a massive loss. Well, anyway, I think we're going on for a break for about 7 minutes, so I'm gonna leave it there for the first two games. YYY comes in really strong at the beginning, but I don't know what about that defense. BPJT actually did really well countering YYY's attack. Okay, that was very confusing. YYY is defending, but they attacked the attackers as they were moving along, and they failed at it. So YYY do two blunders in their defense, but they did an amazing attack. BPJT smaller mistakes, but still just as costly. They lost their defense. So it's still 1-all. It's still 1-all. So DBP defend, they less the time to 3 minutes, right? Yeah, something like that. I think it was about 6 minutes. By the time they got to the base point, it was around about 6 minutes. Um. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in roughly around about 5 minutes. Next, we should get a second pick ban coming out for BPJT versus YYY, and we should see a second set. It could go on for another hour. It could go on for another half an hour. Right now, it's best to first to three. So let's hope to see something changes in the next section. I think YYY and BPJT are quite skilled, but it is telling that both sides are actually really close in skill level, meaning that any mistake that either of them do costs them dearly. I'll catch you guys in a few. Biggest scam of my life. I know, right? Anyway, almost identical. Honestly, almost identical. Oh, actually, no, I take that back. YYY bans out Siphonarioids instead of the Shenji Grenadiers, but BPJT safe picks the Shenji Grenadiers, and YYY safe picks Tsutsumachi and Stalwart. What is going on? I mean, the Harbor City map was like almost guaranteed. I mean, I would bet real money. I mean, I would bet real money that if someone doesn't pick Harbor City in this CBL, I would give you $10. But every time someone picks Harbor City in this CBL, you give me $1. That's how confident I am that Harbor City will be picked. Oh man. But it's way interesting that the Shenji Grenadiers and the Smachian and then the Stalwarts are open. Way big difference from last time. Could be that the Siphonarioids was something that YYY chose in order to combat BPJT, because they knew that BPJT's reliance on special range infantry was, again, very crucial to their setup. So instead, banning out there's four special range infantry that I would classify as high impact, and that's the Metallators, the Zyklene Militia, the Safanarians, and the Shenji Grenadiers. In terms of impact, actual impact, I rate the Siphonarioids, Shenji Grenadiers, Zyklene Militia, and Metallators in that order. So the Shenji Grenadiers being open by BPJT is big. Quite big, quite big. Harbor City is attacking or defending advantage. Attacking. Again, Harbor City, you don't choose a hard map to attack so that the defenders have an easier time defending. Harbor City is a map where the attackers, more often than not, can win. And I say can win because defenders, there is a way to defend this map. We've seen many defenses on this map that work out very well. We've seen many attacks that go fizzle really hard. Really? Huh? Yes, please. Love you too. Ah! Boy. Bye, Kira. Bye, Kira. Also, why? Why would you ban all ranged units? Do you have something against ranged units? I say this every single time. What? Why do you hate ranged units? I know, right? I'm sorry if this is disturbing. Bye, Dad. we are here for war and distractions. Oh my god. We just me and Alan were just talking about this just recently. Vassal Longbowmen they're really OP for two reasons. They actually deal a lot of damage at an extreme range, and their high accuracy and non-skill, like, this is the thing. The range Vassal Longbowmen don't need to be aimed, so you shoot them, you point them in the general direction of the enemy, and they'll just keep firing. They're a well, again, like, they're a one-click unit. You don't have to micro them as much. You don't have to do anything. Once you point them towards the enemy, they'll keep shooting until they die or run out of ammo. Ranged units are not boring to play. you don't. I mean, I don't understand that mentality. Units that are boring to play are defensive type units because you will either get destroyed instantly or no one attacks you, and that's it's a two-way street. No one attacks you or you get destroyed instantly. There is never a situation where you go, they're attacking me, I can hold. Because anytime you get attacked, your defensive unit just gets straight up destroyed. Oh, actually, a good point to make. Vassal Longbowmen, right now, output more damage. They literally output more damage than Imperial Archers. Let that sink in. They output more damage than Imperial Archers. Yeah, that's true. That's why I like the Jungjus. They're really fast. You throw a couple of daggers, run around, throw a couple more daggers. They're a ranged unit disguised as a melee unit. Literally. And I love it. I love using the Jangjus. Out of the units that came out this season, the Jangjus, my top pick. Best pick. I love it. I love it. Hate the camels, hate the Hashashins. Hashashins, too finicky. Camels, doesn't have enough impact. They're tanky as fuck. But the number of Polax, the number of units that deal bonus damage to the camels is horrendously high right now in the meta. And I mean, like, in the meta, you walk them through a stalwart, and watch that camel die. You get hit by any kind of fire unit. You see, like, Cyclean Militia, you see Siphonarioi, they burn your camels up nicely. Any pike unit, good luck, buddy, because they're doing like 5,000, 4,000 damage as you're just rolling through. Camels OP against cavalry. I get it. They're good against cavalry, but how many times have I been trying to stampede and all of a sudden I get hit by cavalry and my guys die? A lot. A lot. Camels just don't do anything that other units just do better. They're not as tanky as Monastic Knights in Stampede. They're not um they're not really good at dealing with infantry like every other cavalry can. And they're only as good as defeating cavalry as the other pike units. Like, if not worse, because they can't kill the cavalry as fast. They can lock up more cavalry because they can hit up to 5, but they have a wider area. So what? So what? They're anti-cavalry. Cavalry that can't do what cavalry can do, so you end up with a dead unit 99% of the time, and that 1% of the time where cavalry is actually rolling through, and your units embrace in the direction of the cavalry. Man, they're... No, you don't! Old Keshik charge, that turnaround bullshit, disgusting. Um, in expectation of YYY going out with stalwarts, look how many Mamelianones that BPJT deployed. There is like five of them, and we see a banner guard. Oh my god. They still have a contingent of cavalry, but I think BPJT. I think BPJT's unit lineup is they specifically they specifically catered it to counter the stalwart pick. They believe. I think BPJT knows something that YYY didn't expect. I mean, like, at this point they safe pick stalwart. So why wouldn't you expect this? BPJT is playing the unit game really hard right now. Really hard right now. Best of 5. So we're on to our third match. This is match number 3. They're 1-all, by the way. They're 1-all. They won both sides won their attack. Obviously, we start off pretty boringly on Harbor City. Go watch it. I mean, but I think that just from the unit setup alone, BPJT actually might just be in the lead by pure composition. By pure composition, BPJT will probably stop the attack from YYY. And that doesn't bode well if that's true. Because of 2 reasons. Normally, both of these teams are better at attacking, so I don't think they're actually that good at defending against each other. Also, the old Keshik charge, there were 2 reasons why it was OP. Every time you stopped it, it would restart. Every time you stopped it, it would restart. That's the OP part. One of the things that happened shortly after Season 2 was that Cavalry, well, after the start of Season 2, because it was during that Season 2 where Cavalry got a big nerf. Cavalry charges used to be able to restart by default. Now, here's the thing. Keshigs were one of the only cavalry that had a second ability locked into a burst ability. But what happened was very interesting is that it was a trigger condition. So they would charge once, get cancelled, and then charge back. And this is for each model, meaning that every time they got stopped, they would go back to charging back towards the hero. And don't forget this part. The range was very far. The duration was basically infinite. You could run a Keshig through, like right now, it was like, basically you could run the Keshig in a return charge back then for like 20 seconds. I saw someone do 2 loops. Through the infantry with 1 Keshig charge. That's how crazy back in the day Keshigs were. I don't remember that. I don't remember Xing Kesh. Oh, well, actually, no. You're talking about Frenzied Slash, aren't you? Where it used to have like 20% extra range on that damn thing. Rattan Ranger's bolts, back in the day, would do 900 damage to you. They do around about 600, 400 damage to you now. But back in the day, it was like 900. They had more ammo, and they were as accurate. They were probably more accurate back in the day. They would kill your horse and you with 1 volley. And that was hilarious. Middle Siege Tower does get up on the wall. BPJT lets it get up on the wall. Let's see if they actually do a proper hold this time. Being super aggressive here on the ground right now. Right hand side. YYY jumps down. 3-on-3. Reinforcements is coming. BPJT needs to escape. Otherwise, they're going to lose more heroes than they killed. They killed 1 guy. Now they lost 2 heroes. About to lose a 3rd one. Big mistake, buddies. Big mistake, I would say. But good reaction from YYY. BPJT jumping down to kill that 1 hero. That's going to be costly. And right up here onto the battle right now. We've got Branching Guards here at the front. And the Stalwarts are getting ready. Taking a massive treb. Good spacing from YYY right now. Keeping the Men-at-Arms. Locking up the enemy. Now they're up onto the wall very heavily. Only having to face one side. The question is how they're going to gain the advantage right now. It's a meat grinder from both sides. And we see the Mermaid Leones getting ready to charge. Could see a combination. Doesn't look like it's coming out. The Trebs have basically staunched the attack. BPJT is getting pushed back heavily, unable to gain any semblance of an advantage against YYY as the formations look strong. Losing those 3 heroes to that 1 hero, YYY takes a massive advantage, goes straight up onto the wall, and punches right into BPJT. BPJT unable to hold the wall, falls back now, and just gets annihilated on the retreating end as they commit towards the wall. You never want to be in this situation where you commit to a defense, and that defense fails so heavily that YYY still holds the majority of their units. And I say the majority. Look at the numbers here right now. I would say a good 8 half units, maybe 10 half units right now. They did take a fight. They did take some damage. Right now, they're fighting on fumes as they're taking more damage from an attack from the rear and from the front. Although it is a desperate fight for BPJT to get a little bit back, I do think that sending in troops like this is still a bad idea. They lost more troops on that bottom of the stairs right now. It would be a surprise if they could push. It would be a surprise if they could push. BPJT might actually manage to push YYY off the wall. They have got the siege tower. The siege tower has been isolated. Question is whether or not they can get back the A point. There is 2 units they'll have to deal with, a lot of heroes as well. About 4 heroes? 5 heroes. On that A point, getting trebbed right now, pulls back. Medal's, you really don't want to sit on top of the siege tower, but the siege tower itself does protect you from trebs. The Royal Janissaries are scared off right now. YYY is not able to muster up the forces to get back onto this wall. BPJT goes hard to defend the A point right now. And I've rarely seen this. I've rarely seen a situation. YYY definitely overextended down that stairs. And it was very costly for them. Now they're losing the advantage here on the wall. And that siege tower is heavy. Very heavy. I would not go up that siege tower right now. I would swing through the front gate and go up the stairs. Right now, you cannot afford to push up that siege tower, even if there's only 4 minutes to go. Lots of stalwarts at the front. They're going to go slow by the looks of it. YYY, your choices are very limited. And I think it would be really, really dumb of you if you go through that siege tower right now. BPJT is not afraid of your trebs. You are down to 3 trebs. You got 21 artillery left. We got Winged Hussars coming out on the field. YYY needs to challenge this. We didn't get to see the challenge of the Winged Hussars. Unfortunate. Right now, we are waiting to see whether or not they go push up onto this wall. Right now, one side looking at the other, we have... Oh, man, that squish comes in. Was it good? I think it was. Right now, the left-hand side is faltering. The right-hand side is doing well. Right-hand side from BPJT is pushing in. Reinforcements comes in the form of Prefecture Pike Guard. Prefecture Pikeman, not Pike Guard. And the mortars. This right-hand side doing an amazing job. Fortebraccio is killing it. Another treb comes through, and a huge loss. What a hold from BPJT. Not only did they were able to reverse the situation, right now, YYY is making a lot of mistakes, sending units to their death up through the death trap. Again, that middle siege tower, never situation I want to push through unless I know I can get up onto the wall. If I can't get up onto the wall, instant death. BPJT holds the wall immaculately, now having a massive unit advantage. Right now, I don't know what YYY can do. With 2 minutes, 40 seconds to go, BPJT is going to swap out for some new units. I don't believe that BPJT is out of units just yet. They can swap to their 3rd unit, but I think YYY might be a little bit less here in this situation by the looks of the unit count. And it's also very telling how many cavalry is out from either side. I will tell you this. The last 2 minutes is going to be a very intense fight. Because if YYY manages to get the A point, they have to rush straight to the base point. There is only 2 minutes to get through all of the defenders and to the base point. We have BPJT deploy their Daggerak Lancers. Did remember they had Daggerak Lancers and Winged Stars out on the field. YYY, where are you going? You have to go now. You cannot stall. The longer you stall, the less time you have to get to that A point. Right now, the quickest way is through that siege tower, but it's a death sentence. And that is the kicker. You have to go through the siege tower now. You are out of time. And here comes the cavalry. Just get up onto the siege tower. You will be fine. Maybe a massive throw. Maybe it was just overextending. Again, overextending is very difficult. Good job with the Fortebraccios. Managed to break through. But look at this. It's just serfs. It just serfs and halberdiers, but you cannot break through. You cannot break through, and that's amazing how dense a file of infantry can get. Oh man. The stalwarts hold the day here for BPJT. And again, like I expected this. When you see a lot of stalwarts, taking them out is actually very difficult. Yes, indeed. Very sloppy of YYY not to secure the A point and try to gain an advantage on BPJT. That was, again, like, greedy play from YYY. Capturing the A point, not capturing the A point here, a really big throw from YYY. Really big throw from YYY. BPJT was able to reset A. YYY fumbled, didn't know what to do, and went up Death Siege Tower here. Like, middle Siege Tower Death Sentence. Didn't go for anything else. Just went up the middle Siege Tower because they thought they would win. I don't believe anyone when they say that it can go up middle Siege Tower and win when the defenders are right in front of you. I think BPJT made a really good call. Made a really good call to get A back. Good job from BPJT for making a very decisive, very risky play, by the way. Very risky play because when you're turning that corner, you have no idea how many units are left from YYY up on that wall. It could be 5, it could have been 10. You just killed a bunch, and you think you got your guys behind you. Your confidence and your judgment of the situation really starts kicking in those high intensity moments. Why? Big mistake. Overextending, losing those few units. Again, there was a lot of units on those stairs. But little by little, BPJT comes in, catches a little bit. Comes in, a little bit more comes in. Catch. Catching all the way to the A point. There is no reset for YYY because most of them didn't die, had half units, and now they have to run all the way back to the supply point, get new units, and run all the way back while BPJT is on their heels. It's terrible that YYY falters at precise moments that BPJT takes advantage of. YYY, your some of your decisions are questionable. Very questionable. I think, and I believe, you need to think carefully about decisions of when plans go wrong. You can make really good plans. Like you're really good at setting up plans, but you like when they fail, you start playing like you're in siege. Like you start playing individually instead of together. Or maybe you play together, but you're pushing together in a very bad situation. You're not stopping to think about trying to gain advantage on your team. You're just trying to fight against the other team in the worst situation possible. And I cry for you because there are many times why you really bring out a really good formation, really strong push, but then something goes wrong. You either overextend or maybe you get countered. But then your next push, the push after that, if you're like if your first push fails, you you do not recover. You don't recover very well at all. Like BPJT recovered really well for that defense. On some occasions, again, BPJT can't recover because your plans of domination are just so immaculate that BPJT gets completely decimated. But BPJT recovers, at least tries to recovers, and that is, man, a big difference. Don't ask how Obi knows fourth get nothing. He yeah, fourth doesn't get anything. I think there's a 20k prize pool. Top player gets 10k, second gets 7.5, and I think third place gets 2.5. Or something like that. The division is stipulated somewhere in the tournament rules. Fourth place gets nothing. Obviously, fourth place is not doesn't deserve anything. Oh, do mind this. Whoever loses here is third place. What I love about watching matches against two equally skilled opponents is being very nitpicky because flaws are shown. And that's really good. I love it. I love it. When one side just completely decimates the other side just too weak. But this back and forth, this push and pull, my goodness, this is really exciting. The fact that we're going for a best of 5 as well. Oh, my goodness. YYY needs to hold the defense if they want a shot. If they want a shot on the field battle. Otherwise, BPJT just needs to clear it out with the A point. This is the thing. Cavalry haven't. A small amount of cavalry has a really big impact. Having more cavalry doesn't, like, you hit critical mass at some point. Having more cavalry than a certain amount, like, if you're good with your cavalry, you'll only need, like, 3. It's like ranged units. If you're really good with it, you only need, like, 3 max. The only reason you have more cavalry is to overwhelm the enemy even if you're at a compositional disadvantage. Mask believing in YYY. Oh my goodness. The strength, the strength and support right now. I wish I could. I really wish that I could like. Oh man, I don't know, man. I'm still up in the arms. They're back and forth. They're back and forth from each other. YYY BPJT, like YYY can do amazingly well on their first push, but for some reason they always drop the ball. BPJT has a best recovery I've seen come out. I think YYY will go for a wall hold at least once. Taking Zid1's advice, defend the wall. Defend the wall is a huge advantage. Treb, nothing. Most of the trebs will be used on the wall or on your culverins because it's very important that they destroy your culverins as fast as possible before you even get hit those siege towers. Why? What are you doing down there? Oh my god, they're like piranhas. Did you see that formation? The three heroes really close went for him. Then three more on the outer circle started to go for him, and then it literally like a drop in the water and a ripple effect. All of the heroes just go straight for it, and it's just oh my goodness. Nothing exciting is happening just yet. Middle Siege Tower gets onto the wall, but it's been a death sentence. I have no idea. I actually didn't see him fall. He might have been knocked off by a cannon. Now, BPJT has a lot of time. They can't afford to waste a bit. It's not a waste per se, but you don't need to take the avenue that opened up for you straight away. Just because the middle siege tower got up on the wall doesn't mean you need to go straight in. You can go straight in some cases, but again, it takes preparation and time. Yeah, there were wolves at the front gate, but I don't know why. Like, they opened the front gate, they sent out the wolves, but why would you go down? Distract the heroes from the wolves so the wolves can kill the serfs? That's a really bad exchange. If you ask me, I would not do that exchange. That sounds like a really asinine exchange. Alright, I'm all done. Sorry I couldn't be finished earlier. I hope the eating didn't interfere too much. Too late. Submissions have closed. But, just to know, it's BPJT 77% to YYY's 23%. Although there is only 3 people for BPJT and 2 people for YYY. Take your spot in CBL? Oh my goodness. Oh, you're making a bet with Mask? Oh man. Two siege towers up on the wall, one on the right-hand side. Okay. It's been a really, really long time since I've ever seen a right-hand siege tower push. A really long time. We'll see how this starts off. Right now we have the banner guards straight up onto the wall. Could see lines of infantry get up. Are we seeing abandonment issues? Right now, YYY is retreating. I see nothing as the entire swarm comes through. Trebs the top of the stairs. Does see a massive retreat. Could they get... Oh my goodness. Iron Reaper's there at the front. Slams right into the front. I don't know what's happening right now. But formations from either side are setting up. A stairs is never good for polearm units. They can't make use of that advantage. Big throw comes out from the Gentile Grenadiers there at the front, shooting downwards, shooting to the heads. And the infantry swarm for BPJT looks to be dominating very hard as they just walk right through the stalwarts, right through the infantry, and they push, knocking down all these dead bodies. The Mammalian charges were amazing, probably, but I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see anything of that. That was an easy clap for BPJT, and I don't think they lost very much. They retreat in good order, securing their advantage and securing the advantage, and YYY feeling like shit. I would be, at the very least. No, the stalwarts were in the front. I mean, the Iron Reapers charged in first, but didn't you see the stalwarts come in really fast? And the stalwarts from BPJT also went in very fast. I think the unit that actually took the Iron Reaper charge was the Madao or the Murmilones. The Halberdiers probably set up a little bit later, a little bit behind. Not entirely sure, but yeah, no, I 100% bet that the Myrmidon clapped them. The Claymores actually came out from BPJT. I'm not even sure I even saw Claymores come out for YYY there, but my goodness, that fight on the stairs, I never like fighting upstairs or downstairs. Two reasons. It's just not a good fight. Either way, you normally get screwed because of something funny happens. But going down is attacking up or downstairs is never a good idea. Well, you just watch YYY push up, and they just get flattened. Eight minutes to go. I don't doubt that YYY still has a chance. The losses, although heavy, are not game. It's not like game. It's not like game setting. It's not game determining losses. BPJT did look like they want to like. I love how BPJT did the exact same thing to YYY the last time as well. Like, they tried to blindside YYY by going through that left-hand supply point, but I think after CNC did it, YYY is smart enough not to get blindsided again. Although, they are late to respond to this. At this point, I would stop. YYY, don't do it. Those guys are going to get killed. Accept that. Don't go in. yeah. Tell them, stop. Cease. Okay, YYY might lose a little bit more than you would expect as this center pile tries to retreat. A small loss is okay. It's recoverable because you're the defenders. They need to push into you, so you need to strong arm them as best you can on as many points as you can. because you're getting very close to the base point and you're running out of space. Once you run out of space, the attackers start pressuring you. You can no longer pressure the attackers. Again, these muskets are only hitting you for a little bit and you are terrified. Grenade comes in, slaps that. Oh my goodness. Dragon's Roars right into the back of that Halberdier unit. Could lose an entire Halberdier unit right now. YYY is slowly using unit after unit, but they're going to make it a fight here on the base point. We've got quite a few artillery coming out from BPJT. They need to bleed out those artillery. Winged Hussars ready and deployed. BPJT swings all the way around though. Only levies Fort Braccio in position. It's retreating for some reason. Big treb on the switcheroo, and that is a big hit. Oh my goodness. BPJT does a nice split as well. Don't panic. Don't panic, YYY. Fight one battle at a time. They're split. Dagger Lancers going to go in for the base point right now. Anyone's going to be able to stop that pile. Oh my goodness, the Spear Sergeants actually managed to stop the Dagger Lancers in an amazing turn of event. But the defenses on the base point are faltering. The supply point is under heavy attack. We just launched four members from YYY just got clocked out. We just saw a member get killed back. 3 more members. 4 more members. The base point is under attack. It's losing. Well, sort of winning, actually. The supply point is heavy under attack, and it is losing. We are watching players drop like fly coming out from YYY, and it could be it for them. It's going to be a real struggle for a respawn here. That supply point is now going to switch over, and not only is that supply point going to switch over, we're going to see a massive spawn from BPJT. They're going to isolate that position, going to solidify their victory. Right now, you're going to have to make a move, and you're going to make it fast, because once they isolate that base point is gone. You only have units in the back line here. The heroes controlling these units all have died. Oh my god. BPJT is doing an amazing job killing off the heroes, slaughtering and holding off those important points. We have a longsword here at the base point, holding for his dear life. I think this is the glaive user using the banner. Well, again, that is a bug, but nevertheless, right now, we are desperate. This longsword is good. Sustain. Could finish him off. Yes, he does. I don't know what that other longsword from BPJT is doing. He's just standing there. Probably just leaving it to the other guys. Way better at doing it anyway. I mean, like, you're a longsword. You don't do shit. He's just chilling. He DCs! He DCs! Oh my god! Oh man, YYY might manage to get the supply point back. They might break through the defenses. The heroes are sacrificing their lives one at a time, but it is 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Winged Hussar going to charge through, but it's straight into Fort Braccio's, which is... They hit! But it is not enough. Cavalry belt. I mean, the dual blade actually makes it onto the point. Oh my god, they're just throwing everything at this right now. Halberdiers just slaughters that farmer unit, and damn it. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. In the end, BPJT wins against YYY. Nah, I go ranked match now. Oh man. Exciting battles today. And it was delicious. I am a little bit upset that YYY loses out in the end. But I'm also happy at how strong both of these teams were. These guys were not, they were not, well, I'm happy from what we got to watch because these these are the top three teams. YYY coming third now. BPJT going to get a rematch for CNC. Could take the championship, but guaranteed their place at least in the top two. So these are some of the strongest teams you'll see in CB. And what's incredibly exciting is watching these teams fight against each other to the best of their abilities. There are some glaring mistakes, but it was fun to watch. And because VP looks like they can challenge. That is true. That is true. I am happy that BPJT can again get to rematch CNC because they have a better track record. Like, don't get me wrong. I think I've always thought BPJT would be the one to come second, and YYY again had a little bit weaker track record. They were going to come in third. BPJT versus CNC, and I honestly think that BPJT could take a couple of matches off of CNC. I hope they do. But at the same time, I have to say, very exciting battles today. BPJT winning out. Congratulations. Gonna wait for any extra news. Oop, does look like they're just rehashing what just happened. I am excited for. I am excited for the rematch. Mask Flame Z. I'm sorry for your loss of points, but I want to just congratulate. I I want to say that CB has been disappointing in recent seasons, but I can definitely say that this CBL has been more exciting than the past year. Or I mean, like we didn't actually get that many matches for CBL. I mean, like again, a little bit of burnout from the summer CBL from last year that went on for way too long. But I will be honest with you, the battles for CBL for this season is very exciting. This is this is probably one of, if not the most exciting CBL I've watched in a long time, in a very long time. But nevertheless, let's clean it up for tonight. BPJT moves on. Winners of the losers bracket faces off against the winners of the winners bracket. CNC versus BPJT tomorrow. I believe it is a best of 7. It is a 2-hour long endeavor. We're gonna get watch. If the rules are the same, the winners bracket have 1 point by default because they've already won against every single person to get to the winners of the winners bracket. So that means CNC needs to win a total of 3 matches in order to close out the championship, while BPJT needs to win back an extra point, making it 4 matches for tomorrow. But nevertheless, I do hope you guys enjoyed the fight. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the finals of the losers bracket. YYY coming in third. So they cemented themselves as top 3. Well, they were always in top 3, but the third place for the Asia Division CBL tournament, and sorry, the 2022 Winter CBL. But that is all for tonight, and I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Other than that, my name's Azukai. Have a nice day. Bye for now. It's impossible. It's impossible. You cannot get a tie and go for a field because the winners of the winners bracket have 1 point. It's impossible. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like a lot. CNC normally just stomps the other side, and they normally stomps the other side in the second set of pick bands, and you never get to the third set of pick bands because CNC cleans it out. Anyway, you guys keep talking. I'm gonna shut off the stream. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night, but that is me out. Goodbye.